Greetings and welcome to Theology, Geek, Fitness. I'm Jonathan Pritchett, and in this video, I'm going to give my review of the Garage Fit 5 resistance band kit that includes handles and a carry bag. Now, I ordered this back in May off of Amazon for $31.99, but the regular price was $59.99. Now, for the sale price, the handles by themselves was around $22.95. And for $9 and some change more, you can get the 5 bands to go with it. So I decided, yeah, I'm going to do that instead because I wanted some handles anyway because I use them at home with my resistance bands, but I have some resistance bands here at work, so I decided I wanted to get some handles for that as well. So I did, but I went with the 5 band kit that came with it because, I mean, that's a heck of a deal. I'd never used Garage Fit bands before, but they said they were layered bands, and sure enough, they were. I was somewhat skeptical since a lot of these bands in these images on Amazon, they all look the same. Most of them come from the same manufacturers in China, and they just slap the logo of whatever company's selling them, and they're all molded. But these bands, they were indeed layered bands, and so layered bands are probably the second best kinds of bands you can get. Molded are the kind of bands that I mean, they're okay, but they're not the best. You want to stay away from them unless you just have to get that kind. But the dip layered and sealed bands that you get from like Clinch or Quantum Band or Sirius Steel or some of these other companies, those are probably the highest quality. But these layered bands would probably be a rung beneath those. And for this price, even at $60, the regular price, and the handles, this 5 band set's a pretty good deal. So they are layered bands. The kit came with the carry backpack, drawstring backpack. It was plenty of room for the bands and some other stuff you might want to toss into that backpack. So I was pleased with that. The 5 bands it comes with is the yellow, the red, the black, the purple, and the green. And the yellow band, the smallest one, that's 5 to 15 pounds, which is the same as other comparable bands. The red band is 10 to 25 pounds. The purple band is listed from 75 to 120. The green is 120 to 75 pounds worth of resistance. And I went ahead and spit an extra $25.99 for their next largest band. I ordered that separately. That's their blue band. I ordered that about a month after because I was really pleased with the quality of these bands. And so since I use the heavier bands at home for deadlifts and chest press and squats and stuff, I decided to get that. And, you know, it's almost cost me what that kit did, about $6 less, but still worth it because now I can get comparable workouts that I get at home here at the office, and I have the handles. And sometimes I have an extra bar that I use here as well. Now, I only have one floor plate, and I do recommend for floor plates for resistance bands, especially when you're using the heavier bands. So when you do deadlifts with the larger bands, even when you're stacking smaller bands together, you'll get your ankles start bending in as you go up, and that's no good long term. So looking at plates when you start getting into the heavier deadlift moves is something, though those things are expensive. But anyway, that's a topic for another video. But for this set, 5 solid bands, a pair of handles, and a backpack. I keep them here at the office. I really only needed the handles because I wanted to get the handles for my Undersun bands. But hey, these bands came with it, were great. And Undersun, probably a little bit better quality than these, but their bands cap out at a band at their extra large, which is comparable to the green band here from Garage Fit. So the Garage Fit goes 3 bands bigger than that, depending on what kind of exercises you want to do with bands. Might be, you know, something to think about. But I've used them for probably 2 to 3 days a week now for some workouts here at the office on lunch or whatever, and they've held up really good. So, you know, I have no complaints. I do want to point out some cons with these resistance bands. Some cons that I have is there's not a warranty. And you know, I figured for just throwing $10 more on just than buying the handles that I'd take the risk. Because to be honest with you, I've never broken or snapped a loop pull-up assistant band, you know, these 41-inch loop bands. I've never had any of them snap. I've used the molded ones. I've used some layered ones, these dip layered and sealed special ones that they hype up, you know, the clinch and the quantum bands. And you hear about that with the Sirius Steel having that. And I've never snapped a single band. So maybe I've just been fortunate, or it's how you use them, or sometimes you get manufacturer defects. I don't know. But my con with this is there is no warranty. Now, you might be able to work something out with the company if you break it like within the first week or month after getting it, but no warranty with this. With other companies, you can get like a year warranty, depending on how you snap it. Or how it breaks. With Undersun, that's the best customer service, the best warranty, because it's lifetime. Lifetime warranty with those bands. If they break, not if they just wear out, but if they break, they'll replace it. And you can't get better than that. But I took a chance on these. I haven't ever had band snap, and I've read the stories of band snapping. There's just as many of those highest quality bands that snap that you read out there as you would read cheap molded band snapping. But there is a difference in the quality between all of those, especially when it comes to the tension curves. So with the Garage Fit, I found that they have slightly less of a tension curve than even the Undersun, and the Undersun has less tension curve than my clinch bands. So it's not quite as much resistance. The difference, I mean, I guess, is more noticeable from clinch to these Garage Fit bands than like going from clinch to Undersun to these bands. So I mean, it may be negligible, but you can feel a little bit of a less tension on the curve when you're doing your exercises, but it's not enough to interfere really with getting a good workout. But just wanted to put that out there. This kit did not include an door anchor, and of course, even the cheap low quality stuff that you see all over Amazon, even those come with door anchors. So I don't know why they wouldn't throw door anchors in it in the package just to round it out, because it really is a solid kit that you get with this, with the handles in the bag. And I sprung for a door anchor that I'd been using at home. I bought another one. I'm going to do a whole video on door anchors because they're not all made equally, and some of them are just really better in quality. Some of them are just more useful. Some of them are not useful at all by comparison. So, but $4 for a door anchor for the kind that I like, that's just a quick and easy door anchor to anchor your bands, I bought that as well. So I've been using bands for 16 months. I've gotten really good results from that. And so I don't mind having extra bands around, because that's basically the bread and butter of my workouts, in addition to some other gear. I've got future videos coming out to cover some of the other things that I like to use, but I would say that bands are still pretty much my bread and butter for resistance training, aside from a couple of other things. And then a lot of what I use is calisthenics stuff. So these I've gotten just as good of a workout as with any of my other bands like Clinch or Undersun that I've used. So it's a good solid kit. I don't know how long they'll last. They've held up rather well, and aside from the logos wearing off, which always happens, you know, they've held up really good. So no complaints there. And the last con is also my first pro. My last con for these is that they're less grippy, which if you're using a bar or something, you want it to be grippy and not slide around on the bar because of the slick surface. But that's if you're loading it straight on the bar instead of like with carabiners or whatever, which I don't use carabiners. I put it straight on the bar. The bar that I use actually has a nice grippy texture to it for the whole length of the bar, so that cuts down some. But some other bars that I've used in the past, the N-Star bars, type bars that look like that, you know, with a different label on it, whatever. Those kind of bars, steel bars, metal bars, whatever. This kind of band will slip around these less grippy bands. But that said, it's also a plus, because when you're doing certain exercises where the band is going to come against your body, like so if you're doing an overhead tricep extension and you're pulling it up and you feel that band against your back, these slicker bands have no problem sliding up and down your clothes, whereas the grippier bands that I've used, like with the clinch, when I do those exercises, sometimes it'll just grip onto your shirt and start bunching it up, and that's not very comfortable. So it's a plus and a minus. And so there's a lot of exercises I do with bands, regardless of the bands that I'm using, where I don't use any attachments. Now, I love attachments, but, handles, bars, plates, whatever. But there's a lot of exercises I don't use any attachments at all. And do you need any of those attachments? No. To get a good workout, every muscle group? No, you don't. You don't even need the bigger bands if you don't mind stacking. Like I said, the only one that you might worry about is your ankles on heavier bands doing the deadlift. But which I think a plate's pretty necessary at that point. But for every other exercise I can think of, you don't necessarily have to have even the handles, but they're nice to have. I use them and I like them because it's for me, when I started using handles, I've used the clinch handle and I've used these Garage Fit handles, and it was more accessible instantly for me to get my head around many of the workouts using handles. So I like to incorporate the handles for a lot of the exercises I do. And so with that coming in there, pretty good. They've held up well. The bands have, like I said, survived 2 months worth of use, 2 to 3 days a week. So they've worked fine as pull-up assist bands, just on a doorway pull-up bar. No problems with that either. So the less grippy thing doesn't really bother me because of the kind of bar that I use, but actually works a little bit better than some of the grippier bands. These bands have that more slick surface, doesn't snag on your clothes or anything, doesn't pull arm hairs or things like that. So that's nice. So that's the first pro, which is the same as my final con. Depends on what you're doing with it. Excellent quality for the price, even at regular price of $60. This kit was great. I have no complaints about that. Gotten great workouts here in the office with them. They've held up well. So all in all, would I recommend this? Absolutely, I'd recommend this. If you're needing to get handles, throw another 10 to 20 bucks and just get a set of backup bands if you're into band training. These are great backup bands. They're not quite, I don't like them quite as much as I like my Undersun bands for a backup travel kit stuff, but I've been pleased with them. Very good backup set of bands that if you need them in a pinch or need them and you don't want to take your main set out or you want to give them a break or whatever, these are great for that. These are also a pretty good entry package and entry level bands for people who are wanting to see if they want to get into band training, because it gives you instant. I mean, if you throw in a $4 door anchor into your cart, this gives you instantly a solid set of 5 bands that can work every major muscle group really well, and the handles, which, the handles are just great. I like these handles. So yeah, highly recommended for backup bands, for people new to bands. If you want to spring a little bit more, there's a lot more benefits for getting a package like from Undersun. The bands, like I said, are a little bit better quality. You get a better community of users with their private Facebook group. They've got programming that you can purchase, which are fantastic. I've done their workout programs from Undersun. I need to do a review of all that, the Undersun stuff, but for Garage Fit, if you can find out, how to use them at various YouTube videos or whatever, and you want to get into band training and find a program that you can find out there for free or whatever, grab this set. It's a great set. So no complaints. Handles are great. Carry bag's great. It's actually better quality than a lot of these carry bags that start to fray or split on you. this has held up great. So I mean, I don't put up the bag and through a lot of wear and tear, but even just putting stuff in some of these bags that you get from some of these brands, the bag doesn't hold up at all. But this entire kit, great, highly recommended. So check it out. They have it on. They sell these on the GarageGym.com website, but the prices there are a little bit higher than the prices that you can find in their Amazon store. So check out Garage Fit stuff. Get these bands if you're interested. They're a good deal. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless.